Aberdeen wasn't a battlefield. It was a crucible of stone and metal, a place where wealth slept beneath dust and surrendered itself only to those willing to pry it loose. The Polaris breathed like a living thing beneath him as Kael slipped into the command seat. A new day dawned across Stanton, pale light dancing across distant mountains, clouds and valleys shifting in silent rhythms. Cargo bays sealed, engines hummed. The gentle roar of grav thrusters lifted the warship from the clearing on Microtech, and Kael watched the pine forest shrink into tapestry beneath him. In his mind, Sidus Rimor wasn't just an org name, it was a responsibility. 6 divisions bound by a single purpose: survival, service, and legacy. 2 of those divisions he understood well: exploration, his domain, and industrial, the broad category that included mining and reclaiming. Today he was stepping into industrial, not as commander, not as a leader, but as a student. Money, it seemed, was as necessary as air out here. He'd poured nearly all of his fortune into vessels, ships built for endurance and belief, metal and grit woven together with hope. But hope alone didn't pay for a crew. It didn't fill fuel tanks, replace armor plates, or hire engineers in a time where manpower mattered more than machines. Aberdeen lay ahead, a mining world carved by gravity and ambition. Beneath its dusty crust, veins of valuable minerals waited for someone willing to uncover them. And Kael, for all his dreams of Oritani, now needed to understand the grind, the labor that built empires and paid credits. The Polaris slipped into quantum, and the stars unraveled into streaks of white fire across the canopy. Microtech fell away behind him, a frozen jewel shrinking into the dark, and for a moment, Kael felt the quiet weight of everything ahead of him. The hum of the engines, the soft vibration through the deck, the way the ship seemed to breathe with him. All of it steady, patient, deliberate. He wasn't running missions yet, not chasing criminals, not rescuing colonists. Today was simpler and somehow heavier. Mining wasn't glorious, but it was real, honest work, the kind that built foundations, funded dreams, kept an organization alive long enough to matter. Quantum markers shifted across his HUD as the route recalibrated. Hurston's orbit slipping away, the course bending outward toward its harsher, angrier moon. This wasn't about courage, it was about commitment, about proving, if only to himself, that he could do the small things before the big ones. The ship shuddered gently as the nav computer guided the ship, and Aberdeen's ochre horizon spread before him like a promise. The Polaris sighed as it pierced Aberdeen's atmosphere, and Kael let his eyes drift to the distance. Here, in the dust of a million excavations, he would learn what it meant to be responsible for every part of his org, including the parts he didn't love. The cargo bay was cool beneath fluorescent lights as Kael donned heavier gear, reinforced industrial armor, utility harnesses, powered boots designed for the jagged ground. This suit wasn't just protection, it was commitment. Every buckle and clasp whispered of countless falls, slips, and scraped knees earned in silent persistence. He adjusted the chest plate, checked tether lines, and verified a final round of oxygen and temperature gauges. In the mining world, machinery was both ally and burden, powerful, unforgiving, and prone to breaking exactly when you needed it most. The Rock DS, a rugged ground vehicle built for rocky plains, stood waiting. 4 massive wheels of reinforced polymer, an articulated frame for steep grades, and enough power to haul ore crates twice its size. As the engine growled and the headlights swept across Aberdeen's plains, Kael thought of Sidus Rimor's divisions again. Cargo, medical, combat, recruitment, exploration, and industrial, now his temporary role. He did not intend to lead this division, but leadership, he was learning, came from having walked in every role before holding others accountable. The ground seemed oddly quiet at first, a strange stillness that didn't belong to the wind or the whisper of gravel beneath his boots. Then came the tremors. Not earthquakes, but movement, low and rhythmic, almost like breathing. That's when he saw them. Valakar, Aberdeen's buried sentinels, massive worm-like creatures that slithered beneath the surface until provoked. Kael felt the hair on his neck bristle as one broke the surface. Its maw opened like the gate of a tomb. Fear hit him first, primal and sharp, but he kept his footing. The trigger squeezed, the shot rang out, the creature collapsed. Silence. Breathing hard, Kael approached the fallen beast. He reached in with gloved fingers and extracted the largest fang, its surface cold and polished like obsidian dipped in light. It was curved with organic symmetry, etched with grooves that hinted at dark subterranean diets. He held it like an offering or a threat, unsure which. The ivory gleamed against his glove, evoking whispers of worth and consequence. Another tremor, another Valakar, another battle. And then another. One after another they surfaced, drawn by the vibrations of his rock DS or his own heartbeat. The thrill crept in, not adrenaline alone, but satisfaction. Here was unpredictable danger, and here, Kael found an unexpected edge. He could survive. As the sun dragged low across the horizon, his pack filled with fangs, each a trophy of courage, each a commodity that would buy credits and respect. And with every kill, the fear lessened, replaced by a stark clarity. He was not helpless. Kael returned to the Auroch DS and loaded himself into the driver's seat. The weight of the fangs seemed symbolic in his pack. Not just teeth, but trophies snatched from fear itself. The sun was vanishing below Aberdeen's dusty plains as he began the long drive back to the Polaris. The ship waited like a silent sentinel, its hull glowing against the fading light. Kael removed the heavy suit and shed the day's grime. Stepping back into simple clothes. A quiet armor forged of experience rather than steel.
Welcome to Robert Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
He stowed the crates, checked fuel, and watched the world below slip away as the Polaris rose again. The horizon blushed with the dying sun, a promise of tomorrow yet unshaped. He thought of the fangs, how he killed what once frightened him, how he harvested value from danger, and how, in those barren deserts, he discovered something unexpected. He could face fear. His father had spoken of courage in different terms. Missions, taking UEE contracts, defending the innocent, doing what others couldn't. And Kael, who once shied from the idea of combat and heroism, felt something shift. If he could face Valakur and win, perhaps he could face the fear of service too. Perhaps he could become someone not just built for exploration, but for responsibility. The Polaris sailed over the golden clouds for a while. Aberdeen's horizon split the sky into like a portal to another world. The journey continued. Kael gazed out at the stars, reflections of want, longing, destiny, each one another question begging to be answered. Ahead lay contracts, danger, and the heavy work of becoming something greater than himself. The stars did not ask if he was ready. They simply waited,